Guys. So, have you guys seen this human resistance? It's insanely OP, dude. I'm replacing all my resilient with it right now. I've just been cooking. Wait, how'd you guys one-shot me so fast?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it's PVE only.
You idiot.
Oh, my God.
What
No.
an idiot. You
I'm gonna
idiot.
have to change this whole build video. So for this PvE build video, I'm sharing my Rapier IG build. A lot of PvE enthusiasts already know that this thing is an absolute shredder in dungeon, and I especially like it in the new Forge. I'm by no means a leaderboard occupant or a min-max extraordinaire, but this build is legit. If you're struggling to decide on a DPS build for mutations, trying to mix it up, or you yourself are trying to min-max a dungeon, this build is absolutely perfect starting place for you. As I do with my PvP build videos, let's start with the attributes. First, I'll start with the safest option, and what I recommend as you get used to the build. For the safest option, I recommend you go something like 215 dex, 150 intelligence, and 150 constitution with food. This will give you plenty of damage while not dying to everything that touches you. As you get more comfortable, you're gonna slowly start taking away from your constitution. Currently, I'm running 215 dex, 200 int, and 100 con, and I've never had a problem with survivability. The most elite and PvE genie would probably run this all the way down to 5 con with 260 dex, 250 intelligence. I don't suspect I'll ever be mechanically sound enough to pull that off, since 5 con's gonna die to anything that breathes on you. But if you want to min-max or top the leaderboards, you're probably gonna need something like this. So I'm sharing it for all of the PvE beasts out there. Filet with mushroom sauce is really cheap on my server, so that's what I'm gonna go ahead and use. So quick summary, you're gonna start with more dex, and then as you bring your con down, you're gonna get something close to about a 50-50 split between dex and intelligence. On to weapon trees, as I think it's important to cover these prior to gearing. The rapier is the most important, so let's start there. This is going to be coined the Blood Rapier, as it obviously relies heavily on the rapier's bleed tree bonuses, so if you're a healer looking for rapier builds, you are in the wrong place, my friend. The abilities will be Tondo, Flourish and Finish, and Flurry. The combination of abilities will have insane CDR and single target damage. The damage really ramps up as you start applying bleed with Tondo and Flurries finalize. Remember, you can only have 3 bleed stacks applied, so be sure to use Flourish and Finish to restart the bleed. Bloody End is amazing for killing single targets that are annoying in dungeons, like archers, musketeers, and the new healers. Fleeting Strikes makes each of the 5 flurry hits do more damage than the last, meaning that if you can land all 5, you're going to be in an amazing place. On the Grace Tree, Perfectionist will pair perfectly with the Light Con lifestyle and Diamonds on Weapons, which I'll cover more in gearing. And Red Curtains is going to provide even more CDR because you're going to be critting like crazy with this build. The Ice Gauntlet has a few options, but I'll just cover the one that I use. Some people prefer to run Spike, but I'm actually going to go Ice Storm, Ice Shower, and Pylon. Punishing Storm is going to magnify your AoE damage on big clumps, since the build is actually kind of weak for AoE damage. Ice Shower will help lock clumps in place for the tank, which is nice to have in all random groups. Frigid Showers will also apply rend on targets, helping your team burst down the clump. The Pylon is really the most important for my build, as it is insanely strong for bosses, especially ones like the new Forge bosses and Iniad, where you have a lot of projectiles and macro to manage. Pylon Dodge will increase the damage output while you're just naturally positioning yourself around mobs, and Pylon Refresh will basically keep the pylon up for 45 more seconds unless it takes direct damage from something. Of course, to maximize the pylon, finish the Builder Tree with Ultimate Frost, which will make your pylon twice as durable. Basically, you're trying to get your pylon to set it and forget it while you do damage with the rapier.
Cause I'm only human after all. I die to anything at all. Don't put the blame on me. Go on, carry me. I'm only human, I made mistakes. Got hit by a fireball, that's all it takes. Cause I got low con. If
you don't know by now, ThousandTroops has a Discord. It's just discord.gg/ThousandTroops. I'll be organizing giveaways for my subscribers here, and the first giveaway is April 30th for a $250 Amazon gift card grand prize winner, plus 5 $50 Amazon gift card mini winners. Join the Discord, enter the giveaways, win free stuff, all while gaming with a chill group of people. Hope to see you soon, but let's get back to the build with the gear. Gear is a little less straightforward than PvP builds, since a lot of things work together in unison. I tried to lay this section out in a way that makes sense the best I can instead of just jumping around. Since the forge is new and fresh, I'm going to be using Human Ward or Bane for the graphics, but this build is exceptional in all dungeons right now, so you can just fill in the blanks and stay flexible.
You is flexible.
So you're going to be running light loadout. Despite any changes that were made to light, it's still the king of PVE DPS roles, and it is a must-have for this build. For armor, you're going to want at least ward and refreshing on every piece. You can try to go absolutely nuts and get elemental conditioning as the third, but it's probably overkill and pretty expensive. So try if you want, but I'm not recommending it. Gems are going to want to match the mutation element, but keep in mind that some dungeons will always have elemental damage present no matter what the mutation element is. For example, the Forge was a boreal mutation for me this week, but all the bosses will present fire damage. Specifically following that Forge thread, there's an incredible helm for this build that you can get for free just for doing the Silver Crow's questline. I won't spoil the story too much, but it's only probably 40 to 50 minutes of questing before you get the Mask of the Fearless, which rocks refreshing, invigorated, and human ward. It does have constitution, so you may need to eventually replace that once you're an expert at this build, but for free, you can't really beat that to start. Quick sidebar, the Silver Crow's questline is awesome. I think AGS did the right things here. The cutscenes, the missions, the characters, they were all very memorable, and I really hope more content like this hits the world in the future. Okay, back to the build. There are 2 rapier perks that I recommend putting on your armor as well. That's Leeching Flurry and Keen Tondo. Leeching Flurry is an absolute must-have, while Keen Tondo is a nice-to-have. For Ice Gauntlet, it's a similar story. 2 perks, one's more important than the other. Unending Thaw is optional in my opinion, but again, it's nice to have and it's going to stabilize your AoE output. Pylon Burst is a necessity for IG as it's a nice segue into weapons, because I do recommend you go ahead and try to get that onto your Ice Gauntlet. For IG, you're looking for Pylon Burst, Bane, and Vicious or Keen. The Pylon can critical with its attacks, so Vicious and Keen are amazing here. For Rapier, I recommend Bane, Keenly Empowered, and Vicious. The Rapier is the absolute DPS horse in this build, and for that reason, you're really looking to maximize that damage, which is why I like to put Leeching Flurry onto an armor piece and leave the Rapier to 3 damage perks. If you're exceptional at keeping Rogue's uptime, Rogue might be the move for you here. I actually think Vicious outperforms Rogue, as backstabs will always critical hit, so you're getting the Vicious bonus, but you aren't always getting to backstabs because of, positioning of the mobs and whatnot. But to each is their own, and if you think Rogue is better for your playstyle, then I think that's totally fine. For both the IG and the Rapier, I'm running diamonds, although opals could probably work as well. I'll cover why I run diamonds shortly, but on these gems, go ahead and invest in Runeglass if you can afford it. I won't go over all of them, but putting frozen Runeglass on your human Bane weapons will be smart, as the Forge bosses take 20% increased ice damage, and the Poltergeists are Lost type, which take 15% increased ice damage. My Corrupted Rapier IG set has arcane rune glasses, because corrupted enemies take a whopping 30% increased damage from all arcane sources. Rune glasses might be overkill, and only one type of rune glass DOT can be ticking on a mob at once, but with this build, if nobody else is running rune glass, you can get 3 ticks rolling with Pylon, your Ice Gauntlet attacks, and your Rapier attacks. Moving into jewelry, on your amulet, you really want health, elemental protection, empowered, refreshing, or divine. There are 2 amazing named amulets for this build, Last Prophecy from Oracle of Crassus and Brimstone Sands, or Magic Empowerment, which drops in the new dungeon. Both can have their gems replaced, so you can exchange that elemental resistance to fit your need. For rings, I'm gonna have to say that the ultimate best in slot is Leeching, Refreshing, and Thrust damage. I was running Fanged Ring, which is a Starstone drop that has Refreshing Evasion, Leeching, and Thrust damage before this happened. Yeah dude, I only got 9.6k. These brilliant enemies are way
You only
too
got
expensive.
9.6k? You're so poor.
Bro, chill, I've been grinding.
Damn, and you only got 1 Scarab. Bruh, you just gotta send it.
You think I can just one and done this? Let's go!
Holy shit, no way,
Let's
bro.
go!
That's crazy.
So yeah, I got really lucky, but Fanged Ring is probably going to perform basically the same as the flat refreshing perk. If you already have Fanged Ring, you should probably just use that. As you start to whittle away at your constitution and get near the 250 intelligence bonus, at that point, you'll actually be able to overcome the bleed cap, and there might be gains to trying to sneak a bloodletting ring in. There's two good named ones, the Heart of Aviva and Tempestuous Ring of Ranger. I'm only speculating that they might be worth looking at because I do think that the refreshing one is better. Lastly, the earring should have Beloved and Refreshing Toast at a minimum. The third perk being something like Refreshing, Refreshing Evasion, Purifying Toast, or Healthy Toast, in that order. I said I'd come back to it, and the reason that diamonds on this build are so great is that the combination of all the leeching from the rapier with Leeching Flurry and leeching on your ring. With Beloved, you'll almost never have aggro if the tank is being reasonable, so you'll run very little constitution, so even the slightest heals will top you off. You're almost always at full health or you're dead. So the more comfortable you get with this build, the more you'll see that diamonds are just insanely good for it. So that's it for the build video today. You're one step closer to being that DPS god that your squad needs to start knocking out gold mutation runs. I hope to see you in the ThousandTroops Discord soon, and if you like the style of this video, you might like this insane Firestaff Blunderbuss PvP build that I made recently to put up with all the madness of OPR right now. Of course, you all are the very best, and I can't wait to bring you another video soon. Peace!